15 ain't easy, unless you're watching me.
What's with all the tension?
Hickory-dickory-dock, the mouse ran up the clock. The clock struck 10, and Chef Ramsay reached the end of his rope. Ooh, sounds ominous, huh? You can feel the tension in that one. Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Tension, as we all know, is a part of our world. If there was a world without tension or stress, it would be a perfect world. But unfortunately, there's no such thing as a perfect world. Tension, for as much as it can be a general detriment, can also be seen as a hidden, unlikely benefit, for it can accelerate you to the finish line no matter what project you're working on. For me, doing these videos on a weekday basis, it's definitely a game of beat the clock every single time. That's why this week, we're gonna explore tension beyond the surface. Let's get started on the lighthearted spectrum of stress, in the kitchen. Where else do we start every week? I know in many homes across the land, it's a constant game of beat the clock, trying to get the whole family around the table and fed in a timely fashion. But not to fret, there's a new player in town who vows to help us beat the clock, depending on how much time you really have. The one simple, salient fact about Gordon Ramsay's Ramsay in 10 cookbook, featuring delicious recipes made in a flash inspired by the hit YouTube series of the same name, watched by millions worldwide, is that the title of the cookbook was taken from the title of his YouTube series, and not all recipes can be made in 10 minutes. Some take 15, 20, maybe a half hour. In that regard, you would be paying homage to my childhood queen of 30-minute meals, Rachel Ray. No matter how much time you really have, Gordon Ramsay vows to give you 100 delicious new recipes inspired by this hit YouTube series.
Hi guys, it's Gordon, and I'm so excited to tell you about my new cookbook, Ramsay in 10. And this book was inspired by my hit YouTube series and Instagram Live of the same name. Trust me, this amazing book will really show you all the tricks of the trade in order to prove that you can cook good food in 10 minutes. But honestly, if it takes you 15 or even 20, don't worry, because Ramsay in 10 is all about showing you how to make delicious food for anyone.
This Grand Central publication was purchased from Value Village in Hawthorne for $4.29 and features 100 recipes divided into these contents: eggs and cheese, pasta, rice and noodles, chicken and duck, beef, lamb and pork, fish and seafood, vegetarian and vegan, and of course, desserts. If there was a cookbook that needed to teach you the importance of mise en place, getting all your ingredients prepped ahead of time before you start cooking, and you practicing those principles, this is it. For the record, this cookbook at the beginning teaches you some measure of those principles, not a lot, assuming that you already know a few of them already. We'll just highlight the recipes along with a couple of photographs outside of them. Let's get started with the mozzarella and basil omelet with asparagus and shiitake mushrooms. The world record for cooking an omelet is 40 seconds, but even with a bit of practice, it can take the average home cook 3 minutes to crack the eggs and fold them into a finished omelet onto a plate. Well, in any event, this will serve one, and we'll see if you're up for the challenge of handling this one in under 10 minutes. These icons here, gluten-free and vegan or vegetarian, be on the lookout for those because there are some recipes in here that definitely meet a handful of dietary needs for the not-so-average diner out there. Next up, 1-pan pumpkin pasta with amaretti biscuits and lemon thyme. Pumpkin pasta, surprisingly, is nothing new in the world of today's culinary adventures, but using amaretti biscuits, aka crumbled amaretti cookies, as a finisher? That's a novel idea, even from Chef Ramsay. May seem a bit bizarre, but we'll just see what the average diner thinks. This will serve 2. A good many of these recipes, by the way, were designed to serve 1 or 2. It could take you longer if you need to bulk up the recipe or double it for the average family of 4. In that case, it would take you 20 minutes bare minimum to do. Next up, chicken schnitzel with gherkin creme fraiche. Gherkins, by the way, are pickles here in the US. This will serve too. Here we have a steak sandwich. It doesn't get any more simpler or unbeatable in the sandwich department than a good old-fashioned steak hoagie. At its best when made with a really tasty cut of beef, such as hater steak, aka omelet. Chef Ramsay would encourage you to wrestle your butcher for that prized private butcher's cut and try it in this excellent sandwich, which again serves too. Yeah, think about it. PCS versus George the Butcher, which is the name of our local butcher here in Patterson, in a steel cage death match for the most prized possession of them all. Hater steak. Heck, you might as well put a wrapped cut of hater steak inside of a briefcase and hang it on top, and then we could use a ladder to retrieve it. It's kind of like the Money in the Bank ladder match for steak. Now that's a novel concept. By the way, don't try and wrestle your butcher, please, unless he has a hobby, moonlighting as a professional amateur. And those things are a thing. Professional amateurs. Look at me. I'm a professional amateur doing this on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, while I'm suffering through hay fever. Go fig. Moving on to a salmon ceviche with orange and fennel salad. Of all the recipes that could take you 10 minutes, bare minimum to do, no-cook recipes tend to be within that time range. Hey, Gordon Ramsay says at the onset that this cookbook offers you fast food at its finest and fine food at its fastest. And ceviche is one of the ultimate fast foods out there, a no-cook recipe. So you're going to have to handle this very delicately. This serves too. It's gluten-free and dairy-free. This is just a series of photographs taken in Chef Ramsay's kitchen of him preparing one of the meals in here, which would be fish and chips. Fish and chips, from my point of view, is something you probably would never see in Hell's Kitchen. I remember way back in season 3, Julia, right, the short order cook, preparing her take on fish and chips, which really was no different from the presentation you see here. It was during a challenge, and that actually threw the towel in for her team. The men won that challenge by a score of 2-1. Yes, I am a Hell's Kitchen fan of a certain generation. Next up, Tana smoked red pepper soup with ricotta and tomato bruschetta, or bruschetta. It depends on who you want to piss off with those pronunciations. I bet it just goes one way or the other for Gordon Ramsay, maybe not, whatever. This serves too, and yes, this is inspired by Gordon's wife, Tana. Next up, before I highlight this dessert recipe, which actually is a breakfast recipe, but features flambéed pineapples to make it a dessert. This actually reminds me of another Hell's Kitchen challenge recipe from season 2. Somebody encouraged the chef to burn the you-know-what out of roasted red peppers. It nearly cost them the challenge. Burnt red pepper soup. Not an ideal dish to be serving in a Hell's Kitchen challenge. Now we can have dessert. Or breakfast. Whatever. If it was breakfast, this whole thing would be backwards. In any event, we have American-style fluffy pancakes with flambéed pineapple, and this will make 8 servings. One last series of photographs to highlight here. Just to give you a bit of backstory behind the Ramsay in 10 idea. Originally conceived to feature fellow chef pals making a classic dish in 10 minutes flat, thanks to COVID shutting the whole world down, the series got retooled to feature Chef Ramsay in his own kitchen, cooking his signature dishes. Simple, yet worldly, in 10 minutes, or a little over, thanks to the production assistants and heckling from his daughters, Megan, Tilly, and Holly. And by the way, that's Gordon's wife, Tana. I'm not going to go over all the variables that might stand in your way when getting these recipes on the table in 10 minutes, but I will cover just a few. It would all depend on your efficiency at mise en place, getting all the ingredients prepped, chopped, measured out ahead of time before you begin cooking. It depends on your speed in getting it all done. It depends on how efficient and effective your equipment is. You know, your stoves, your ovens, your pots and pans, how speedy they can come to a boil, how quickly they can saute or sear or brown. So, those are just some of the variables. By the way, because this is from Gordon Ramsay, you will have to source out a few, shall we say, out there ingredients for certain recipes that might have you hunting them down in a specialty food bot or online. Heck, I don't even know if this review can clock it in 10 minutes. I think it won't, but my ruling is the same. 4.5 out of 5 claps. You give Chef Ramsay 10 minutes or 22 minutes, and he'll give you a world of flavor. 10 or 10 plus, Ramsay in 10 wins. That's Gordon Ramsay's Ramsay in 10 cookbook. Here's what's on the docket for Tuesday. This is one of those instances where your ultimate demise is your ultimate triumph. Go figure. And dude, your rocket ship done crash landed a long time ago. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the flip side.